Good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. A little bit of fun we're having this morning. I'm going to take you along on a ride as I have to go to run two errands before we get started with our Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm going to head over to pick up some donuts, and then I have to go get some milk. So you can see here we are driving along the road. I've been really impressed with the progress of 10.5. So far, especially coming from 10.4, just coming up on a red light here. Now we're actually going to be coming up on something that I really have seen a huge improvement on, and that's unmarked roads. So this section of road here, previous releases, the car would drive on the middle of the road, and with 10.5, it no longer does that. It actually drives right on the right-hand side of the road like it should. With 10.4, it did start to show some slight improvements, but it would kind of dart to the middle of the road and then dart back to the right-hand side of the road. And now with 10.5, it's driving perfectly down the road on the right-hand side. So that's a huge improvement. We're going to go over some railroad tracks here, which you can see it does display those up on the screen. And again, you can just see how great of a job it's doing with the staying on the right-hand side of the road. So that's again a huge improvement over 10.4. You can also see it's starting to try to draw the lines for the center of the road on the screen here. So we have a left-hand turn coming up and then a quick right-hand turn. During a busy traffic day, it would struggle with this because it will get into the left lane instead of, kind of going for the right lane, which is where it needs to go in order to make this set of turns successfully. So here we go. So you can see it put me in the left-hand turn lane, and now it moves to the right. So it did a good job here. Again, though, if it was a regular day and the traffic was a lot worse, it typically will end up missing this right-hand turn here, and then it'll end up making it further down the road. So I wouldn't say really no improvement there from between 10.4 and 10.5. And we have just a couple of stop signs coming up here. It's been doing a lot better taking off from stop signs. There are still some where it has a tendency to just sit far too long. This one, it goes through okay. Again, unmarked roads. On the screen, it looks like it's down the middle, but it actually is hugging the right side of the lane here. Good stop. And good start again. Just a recap too, for those of you that didn't see my video earlier the other day about the inside camera. So there is a camera obviously on the inside of the car, and it checks to make sure you're paying attention. So to make sure you're actually looking out, actually looking at the road and not looking at the screen. And they've expanded upon that now, and it actually does detect to see if you are holding your phone. And if you're holding your phone, then it will also give you a warning telling you to pay attention. All right, good start here. Now, this is a mistake. It's trying to drive down the middle of the road here. I think it's just because it's a large unmarked path. It's probably larger than like the thresholds they have set. but I didn't have to disengage, so it still did make it through there okay. So far, I've been really impressed with 10.5. I've seen a big improvement between 10.4 to 10.5. When it went from 10.3 to 10.4, I didn't notice that much of a change, but there's been a real positive progression switching to 10.5. For example, just the way it handles unmarked roads, a lot fewer instances of phantom braking. It definitely has not gone away, but some of the areas that it was consistently doing it, it's not doing it anymore. So that's definitely some progress is made there. A lot fewer times is it rendering like mailboxes as people, at least in my experience. Just going through a green light here. So yeah, overall, definitely, I would say it feels like a real improvement. So, which is what you always want to see when you're going from version to version. It also seems to be much more confident about drawing the edges of the road in this release versus previous releases. We have a little bit of a drive left here coming down this hill, and then we're going to merge into a single lane road right here. We're going to be doing some testing later on, probably next week. I actually bought a large inflatable, it's an inflatable, I guess it's a dressing dummy, but we're going to do some testing to see, under what circumstances will the car stop for a person in the road? Will it even, first of all, register that this inflatable thing is a person? I'm assuming it will. And then just kind of testing the limits of the avoidance for, hitting a pedestrian. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see. I also purchased some different sized stuffed, just toy dogs to see how it handles, with small pets, and like what's kind of the limit of what it'll avoid and what it won't be able to avoid, with the current beta version. So we're coming up here, we have to make a left-hand turn. It's pretty straightforward. Good left-hand turn here, and then we have one more left-hand turn. It has to get into this left lane. Overall, this was a great drive so far. I had one disengagement, but other than that, it has handled exceptionally well. It really, it seems to get closer and closer, each time to something that's feels very, very natural to have engaged. So here we go, making a left turn. Okay, excellent job there. That was really good. And we're gonna have to change lanes over here to get to our destination. Again, our first stop is picking up donuts this morning. And it's not gonna pull me right into the driveway, but it's gonna get me pretty darn close. So right-hand turn here. Oh, look at that, actually. Okay, so that wasn't bad. Okay, we've got our donuts just backing out here. We've got to make a left-hand turn. It's gonna re-engage FSD beta. It's not engaging though, so let me get out into the road and then we'll engage it here. All right, there we go. So I hope everybody enjoys this kind of goofy face I did. It actually took a lot of work. I had to use Apple's Xcode, which is their programming application. I found a developer online that actually took the Animoji feature that comes on all of iOS devices, and lets you record longer than 10-second clips. So I had to kind of install this on my phone, because you can't get it through the App Store. And it's a pretty crazy setup. I've got it all tethered to my computer, and making a right-hand turn here. So, but I thought it was something fun to do for Thanksgiving, and it's kind of a chicken turkey-esque, but it's something different. So, all right, we've got a right-hand turn coming up here. Very smooth, good pull away. Just gonna bump the speed up a little bit to go a little bit quicker. Good job cutting over to this lane, which is a little bit over to the right. All right, we're going to keep going. This is the route we took on the way over here. It is going to have to take us onto the highway in a little bit, so we'll see how it does with that. Just coming up over the hill. These parts are pretty uneventful. This is the easy stuff, going straight down the road, especially when there's no traffic. We're going to stay into the left lane here so that we can go straight. Okay, changing lanes to the center lane. Through the light. Driving along good through here. We're going to be going through another set of lights. Changing lanes again. So up here, what we're going to have to do is we have to make a left-hand turn. We have to make a left-hand turn, and then we need to go straight, and then we need to make a right-hand turn. So we're going to move into the left lane. Now we need to make a left-hand turn, and then we need to get into the center lane. But this is not the lane we're supposed to be in. We're supposed to be in the right-hand lane, or excuse me, the center lane of these three lanes here. So let's see if it's going to try to, we'll just send this to Tesla. Let me see if it's going to still try to take us. No, it's not. Okay, so it's now given up on going that way. And let's see if it tries to loop us back around. Doesn't look like it's going to based upon what's on the screen. So that was not correct at all. That was, a planner issue there. And it looks like, okay, so it's gonna take us a different way to get onto the highway. So we're gonna go back up through this, through the street here, and then it's gonna have us take a right. It might have done better there if there was actually some traffic, but that was, that was a fail there. So we've got a right coming up here. We've had mostly green lights today, so it's been pretty straightforward. Good right-hand turn here. And then we're gonna have our entrance to the highway coming up on the right. in just a moment here. After we go through this light, there's going to be one more light that we're going to take a right at. Okay, so we're going to have a transition from FSD beta to regular autopilot in just a moment. We've got a right-hand turn here. It's waiting for this car. It's nudging a little forward, then it's waiting for this car, and it's successfully waiting for this car. So that's great. So now it's going. Good pull out here, and good build to highway speeds coming up. It actually, on this section of road, it does stay in FSD beta a little bit longer than in other parts of the roads around me, which actually, I mean, I love, because it changes lanes so much smoother on FSD beta than it does on regular autopilot. There we go, now it's switched over to regular autopilot. So we're gonna be on regular autopilot for a mile or two until we have to take a right. I'm just gonna bump the speed up. They finally opened this bridge up back here, so all the ramps are reopened, which is nice for the holidays, although I think they still have more work to do in the spring. So let's see how we do here. All right, we're gonna be coming down the street, and then the right-hand turn is gonna be coming up right after this bank here. I just have to give a little torque to the wheel. All right, so we're coming down. We've got a car merging here. It's amazing to see the progress from autopilot to FSD beta, because you're gonna see here, let's see how it does on this corner. It's just so smooth on FSD beta going around corners, and you can see the wheel, see it's making little micro adjustments going around. In FSD beta, it would not do this. It would just be a smooth, it would go smooth through the turn. Again, this is one of the reasons why I can't wait till they merge the software stacks and they just have the FSD beta running on the highways as well as on local city streets. So good merge here. Then we have a right-hand turn coming up to get off the highway, and then a transition back into FSD beta. Okay, here we go. Got off, it transitioned back into FSD beta, and then we have a left-hand turn here up at this light, but looks like we're gonna get a red light. So with the exception of missing the turn back to get on the highway, this has been an excellent drive. No other mistakes. All the actual executing of turns, it's been done a wonderful job. And then we're gonna have a right-hand turn coming up here to go pick up our milk. There we go. All right. Excellent job. So from here, we're gonna head home. So let's sign out for a second, and then we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So we got our milk. Now it's time to head home and enjoy the rest of the day. So we'll just back out here. Again, remember, FSD beta can't back out of parking spots yet to start the route. So we're gonna re-engage here once we get in the road. And there we go. All right, so we've re-engaged. I've made this trip a bunch of times. It's pretty uneventful, but you never know. So we'll see how it does. This time we have a left-hand turn coming up here. Actually, a lane change, then a left-hand turn. Okay, here we go, left-hand turn. Great job there. And we're gonna have to transition into the right lane. Keeps saying it wants to, it's not moving. There it goes. And then we have a stoplight. It hesitated a little bit there to make that right turn. Or excuse me, that right lane change. Okay, now we're gonna get going again. And we're gonna have a right-hand turn coming up in just a moment. There we go. Excellent job there. And just like before, we have an unmarked road that we've been down before, and it's actually hugging the right-hand side of the road like it should be, so that's excellent progress. Going up through here. And we're gonna have a stoplight coming up soon. Actually, we have a light here, and then we have a stoplight coming up. Again, pretty uneventful on the ride home. It's done this, dozens and dozens of times. At this point, I pretty much know what to expect. For example, up here, again, this is more of an issue in 10.4, but with 10.4, after going through this light here, because of the problem of it trying to go into the center of the road, it would, go in the center of the road right here, but it doesn't do that anymore. It stays to the right like it should. I would say, for me at least, that this drive from picking up milk back home is now at the point, it's at the same level as me driving with Autopilot on the highway. I'm completely comfortable with it making this trip. I've done it so many times now that I know what it's going to do if it's going to do anything. So you obviously still have to stay vigilant between versions. So 10.6 that's going to come out in a couple weeks might do something different. So it is almost like relearning the system every time. But it's been slow and progressive, positive changes between the builds. So it seems to have this one down. There is a little phantom braking that you're going to see coming up here. So it'll dip down below 40 a couple times, like right here, down to 37, and back up again. Nothing that's alarming, like what I was having in previous builds, but it is still doing it a couple times. This upper half of the road, see, there it goes again, down to 37 and then back up to 40. So I just sent that over to Tesla. Obviously we want to get to a point where we don't have any more phantom braking. And then a little more phantom braking. I sent another note to Tesla. I try not to bombard them with tons of phantom braking notification. I don't want to let them do it all the time, but I try to at least send it in once at each place that every couple days, if it's done at some place that I haven't sent it in for before. We've got a light coming up here. Let's see if it stays red. Okay, red light here. Now in previous drives on 10.5, I've only had it a couple days, but it does take, there's a turn that's coming up here that it does take the turn a lot quicker than it has in previous versions. So we'll see if it does that again as we're coming up here. Okay, right-hand turn is going to be coming up shortly. Just my kids calling me, asking me where the donuts are. Okay, this is the right-hand turn that in 10.5 it has been taking the turn a lot quicker than in previous builds. But actually, all right, did a good job here. So this one it took a lot slower this time. A couple days ago I came up this corner and it took the turn a lot quicker. But this time it took it at normal speeds. And then we've got a right-hand turn. And that's it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and a great holiday, and we will see you again soon. All right, bye.